Have you ever wondered what truly launched the modern world? The smartphones we carry, the cities we live in, the jobs we work, all of it has roots in one of the most dramatic transformations in human history, the Industrial Revolution. This wasn't just about machines or factories. It was a shift that redefined how we live, work, and interact with the world. In this video, we're diving deep into how this revolution began, who drove it forward, what it changed, and what it cost. But before we begin, it is important to make a point. Usually, historians separate the Industrial Revolution into two phases. The first Industrial Revolution, from approximately 1760 to 1850, and the Second Industrial Revolution, from approximately 1860 to 1914. These are not two separate events, but rather two different phases of a larger ongoing process of economic, technological, and social transformation. The distinction is not chronological in the strict sense, but analytical, and above all, it makes sense in relation to geographical context, since not all countries went through the two revolutions at the same pace. For example, while some went through the first, others were already in the second. But specifically, what changes between these two phases? Let's find out. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people lived in rural communities. They farmed, spun their own clothes, and relied on simple hand tools. Life was slow, seasonal, and largely unchanged for centuries. Economies were agrarian, and production was local. But by the late 1700s, a perfect storm of events, scientific advancements, political stability in Britain, colonial wealth, and a growing population, set the stage for something huge. Britain in particular had the right ingredients: abundant coal and iron, rivers for transport, access to overseas markets, and a growing class of inventors and investors ready to take risks. The Industrial Revolution truly kicked off in the textile industry. Around the mid-18th century, the demand for textiles in the United Kingdom is met by the import of Indian calico. English entrepreneurs wanted to find a way to produce textiles cheaply at home, and this led to the discovery of innovative solutions. Inventions like the flying shuttle by John Kay, the spinning jenny by James Hargreaves, and the water frame by Richard Arkwright mechanized cloth production, making it faster and more efficient. British textile production became competitive with that of India. The steel industry also experiences innovations. The Darbys, owners of a major British foundry, find a way to produce good quality pig iron. Henry Cort, another entrepreneur, patents two new systems, puddling and rolling, that make it easier to process this material. But perhaps the most revolutionary invention was James Watt's steam engine. Originally used to pump water out of coal mines, the steam engine soon powered factories, trains, and ships. It was the energy source of the new age and essential in both the textile and steel industries. These machines didn't just speed things up. They moved production from homes to factories, sparking the rise of industrial cities. Factories became the heart of the new economy. Huge buildings housed powerful machines, and people moved from the countryside to towns in search of work. Cities like Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow exploded in size. Not everyone benefited equally. Workers faced long hours, low wages, and dangerous conditions. Child labor was rampant. The air in factory towns was thick with smoke, and clean water was a luxury. But resistance grew. Workers began organizing into unions, demanding better pay and safer conditions. Laws were slowly introduced to protect children, limit hours, and improve safety. Women too played a key role, both in factories and in the fight for rights. The Industrial Revolution indirectly sparked movements for labor reform, public education, and women's suffrage. The Industrial Revolution didn't just transform production, it revolutionized transportation. The invention of the steam locomotive and the expansion of railroads made it possible to move goods and people faster than ever before. Railways stitched together regions, stimulated trade, and created entirely new industries. Canals and improved roads also played a key role in this network. Iron bridges and tunnels were engineering marvels of the time. For the first time in history, distance was no longer a barrier to progress. The Industrial Revolution quickly spread to Europe, North America, and eventually Asia, specifically in Japan. Each country adapted the model in its own way. While at an early stage industrial society is formed, giving way to urbanization, the emergence of the proletariat and factories, in addition to the geographic areas involved, we have, in a second phase, also expansion into more technologically advanced sectors, such as the chemical, electrical, and telecommunications industries. By the end of the 20th century, large corporations, financial capitalism, and new forms of labor organization, such as Taylorism, were born. Precisely because of these changes, we can speak of a second industrial revolution. But the global expansion wasn't always fair. Industrial powers fueled their growth through colonialism, exploiting resources and labor from across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Plantations, mines, and ports and colonies became essential cogs in the imperial machine. The revolution also deepened the gap between industrial and non-industrial nations, a divide we still see today. The Industrial Revolution was an era of relentless innovation. Some key inventions include the telegraph, which revolutionized communication, mechanical looms, which allowed mass textile production, the Bessemer process, which enabled cheap steel production, and later electricity, the light bulb, and the internal combustion engine. These innovations reshaped not just economies, but entire societies. By the late 1800s, the world had been transformed. The Industrial Revolution laid the foundation for our modern economy, urban lifestyle, and technological progress. But it also taught us important lessons. Rapid progress can come at a human cost. The challenges of pollution, inequality, and overwork didn't end with the 19th century. They echo into our time. As we enter the age of AI and automation, the Industrial Revolution reminds us, every technological leap brings both opportunities and responsibilities. So next time you hop on a train, turn on a light, or buy a product made in a factory, remember, it all began with the sparks of innovation in the 18th century. The Industrial Revolution didn't just change industry, it changed us. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like or comment.